Just hit for 1.2 million. Jesus. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grimreaper coming at you for another video for Raid Shadows. Today we're going to do a champion showcase on the one and only Gnut. We're going to take him into Nightmare Hydra and see what he can do. This recording was done on stream, so we will come back to his build, etc, etc. But generally this is the Gnut build. It's been modified a little bit from my fine art build and the build I did on for the showcase for that. For champion, for Shogun and stuff like that. So let's get into this recording. Let me show you what he can do, and you'll be quite surprised as a single damage dealer what this guy can do. Is actually blow my mind, and I didn't see how much potential with him, but yeah, anyway, let me get into the run and we'll show you what he can do, and then I'll come back to everything else. So there we are, guys. There is the damage. We've got some big damage. Now, bear in mind, my Royal Guard has like 300 critical damage in Relentless and 2-piece refresh as well. He's actually only done 4 mil damage lower, and that's actually really strong. As only Gina has a single hit on a A3. Yes, it's a free hitter, but it's a single hit. Royal Guard and Husk are AoE. So it's really impressive how Gina is able to nearly do more damage. I kind of like as well, and I want to point this out, that the synergy between Gina and Yugo with the defense down, the block buffs, the decrease attack, and the weaken gives you the 4 buffs that are really needed. Obviously, Chris brings you the decreased speed as well, which is really strong. But the synergy between Yugo and Gina is really cool, and this is something that I would recommend building around your hydra teams if you're looking for someone like this, right? And I think that they both give really cool synergy. I also do believe Gina and Mishkati, who has the hex and defense down and decreased attack, will have a really good synergy as well, because when I was using Mishkati, I was kind of missing a weaken a lot and the damage had been reduced. They both can do raw damage as well, which is really cool. Hex would allow both of them to do way more damage as well. So the synergy between them two would probably be even better. But you would be missing the defense down. The downside of Gina is the counter attack, and as you're seeing in the end, when I lost the block buffs, the counter attack was spreaded and used against us. So that's something to kind of bear in mind. But I think with the utility that Gnut brings, he brings so much utility. He allows your Husk and Royal Guard to do raw damage more, especially if you don't have AoE defense down or weaken like Venus available for your comps who I'd normally use on Nightmare. So this was a really, really strong team. If I did this on manually, I generally think I could have beat a personal best of 95 million. I don't have a Quizma, so breaking 100 million slot is something that is not easy to do on my account. But it might something I might challenge myself to next week when I have a bit more time to do the runs, and also with the tournaments coming up and stuff like that. With the tournaments coming up and stuff like that as well, it's looking quite promising, and it might actually be a way for me to do more raw damage overall as a team. Husk brings great utility and stuff like that because he locks down DK. His build is not as strong as Royal Guard. Royal Guard is beat for raw damage, so really good synergy between the four, and I really, really like it. So again, Chris could be easily replaced by multiple champions. I've done multiple videos now on Hydra. This is why we started looking at Pacific champions and Pacific gear. I'm not going to show you all the team builds of this team because it's mainly focused on Gnut and the utility that Gnut brings and the damage I do. The build in him is quite extensive, but I would recommend a fairly different build if you was not to build him for Fire Knight hard. Bearing in mind my Gnut is built for Fire Knight 10, I've only changed 2 pieces of gear, which is his banner and chest, to make him faster. So in the turn rotation, he puts up the AoE weaken before Husk and Royal Guard do the AoEs to allow the team to benefit much as possible. I also want him to put the decrease attack down quite regularly as well to allow us for survivability. So I do want 400 accuracy, which means that his gear is quite gear intensive and his build is quite gear intensive. But bearing in mind, I am an endgame player. I have been playing this game for 4 years. I have got a max Great Hall, and we also have a lot of it maxed out in the Great Hall as well in the live arena bonus side. So we are going to go ahead and put this build on. So as you can see in Hydra, I don't have any speed done because I don't need to do any speed, but that's something that I can generally do to improve his stats. Very good. I haven't looked at accuracy yet, but as you can see, I do have an 18% critical damage. That was my first goal that I did, and I do have an extra 10% ignored defense. So that will build on stack on top of the lethal set that we are using. We have a massive amount of speed. His defense is not as good, but bear in mind Husk and his defense basis survivability is much better than Royal Guard, and he is also been protected by Duchess with the AoE damage mitigation when it into Veil, and Chris with the ally protection, and just absolute of a beast Chris is himself. So I can go in and go a bit squishy and kind of focus on other stats like accuracy. His accuracy needs to be 400 if you do want to build him to do that AoE weaken, and I do recommend going with that style of build. I also kind of know that it's better to use Relentless over Lethal just for the Hydra content. You could also use a Relentless build in Fire Knight and in Sandevil. Just bear in mind if Relentless procs too much, that could slow down your comps much slower in time. So if you don't have the Lethal, Relentless is probably the second best set I would recommend on him. So his build then, he has got accuracy banner. Obviously we do one defense substat if we can, and HP substat. So fairly strong banner. Critical damage with triple accuracy, and then I would have liked to get some defense substat as well, but we couldn't. Again, I didn't want to change his build too much differently from his Fire Knight build. We do have a triple defense with defense main stat, which has been glyphed. None of his gear has been oiled as much. We have critical damage with speed boots with critical damage and critical rate. We have accuracy chest with triple speed on, which is really nice, and it's allowed me to get the speed with a critical rate roll and flat defense, flat HP. We did oil his boots, gloves up after the run. I kind of wanted to see if I get extra critical damage. I didn't, but we do have speed, critical rate, which would would have been ideal actually, but we have got speed and accuracy and defensive stat. That's why I picked the gloves. Again, actually quite a good pair of relentless gloves. If I lift that up to the 10%. We do have speed, critical rate, and speed, critical rate, and critical damage and defensive stat. We have quad, critical rate, speed, and critical damage, which is really useful. I have lift up his resistance a little bit because it doesn't hurt too much to have a bit of extra resistance for finite for the waves. We have critical rate, critical damage, and speed, and HP substat for survivability. The obvious blessing for me for Hydra would be Brimstone, but because it's a finite build, I have gone for Phantom Touch because his general main use for my account is for finite 10. Other than that, my runs would be seriously slow. So there is your showcase on Gnut. I'm really happy this build. He's a really good champion and his build is slightly different for finite. I haven't made a video yet on finite because the team is only about 85 to 90% consistent because of the lack of the Phantom Touch. So I'm not going to post a video or post a comp for you guys to kind of copy if it's not at least 99 or 98% consistent. If it fails once every 100 runs, I would probably post a video because it would be fairly good. But if it's not doing that, then I'm not going to bother wasting my time or wasting your time with them recommendations. Anyway, let me know down below what you think to that comment, and let me know down in the comments what you think about Gnut. My conclusion is it's probably one of the best fusions ever. If anything, he's probably the most account changing for me in Raidshadowlegends since Cantra was released, when I was able to start farming spiders consistently. Spider 20 back when she was released as a barbarian fusion. So yeah, there we are. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help support the channel and me to keep bringing you these videos to test him. People have been asking me for my personal opinion in Hydra for Gnut. I didn't really like the look of him because of the counter attack. However, I was wrong, and there is ways that you can counter that by using block buffs and even building high resistance, or even bring the resistance buff if you wanted to, or a decreased accuracy. On another video, peace out.